Saraswati Vyasam Dojaya Mudiraye Ashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhagavati Naishtiki Srimadam Swakatha Krishna Yashravana Kirtana Tolstoy Badrani Yadunoti Surutsatam Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 6 Text 1 Rishivacha Iti Asam Swashaktinam Satinam Asametya Saha Prasukta Loka Tantranam Nishamya Gatim Vishvaraha Vishirvacha Tita Samsvashaktinam Satinam Asametya Saha Suktaloka Tantranam Nishamya Gatim Vishvaraha Ita Samsvashaktinam Satinam Asametya Saha Suktaloka Tantranam Nishamya Gatim Vishvaraha Itasam Swashaktinam Satinam Asametya Saha Suktaloka Tantranam Nishamya Gatim Vishvaraha
Ititasam Swashaktinam Sakinam Asametya Saha Prasuktaloka Tantranam Nishamya Gatim Vishvaraha Ititasam Swashaktinam Satinam Asametya Saha Prasuktaloka Tantranam Nishamya Gatim Vishvaraha
Satinam
Itasam swasaktinam
Itasam swasaktinam
Satinam asamatyasa
Satinam asamatyasa
Prasutta lokatantranam
Prasutta lokatantranam
Nisamya gatim isra
Nishamya Katimishvara. Like to try Jacob Prabhu?
Itasam Sasatinam
Itasam swasaktinam
Satinam Asmetyasa
Satinam asamatyasa
Suddhalokatantranam
Prasutta lokatantranam
Nisamya
Anyone else? It's a good remedy to try to chase away Nidra Devi, which is goddess of sleep. So just chant this and she'll run away. Alright, so Rishi Vacha, Sri Maitreya said, Iti, thus, Tasam, there, Swashaktinam, own potency, Satinam, so situated, Asametya, without combination, Saha, he, the Lord, Prasutta, suspended, Lokatantranam, in the universal creations, Nishamya, hearing, Gatim, progress, Vishvaraha, the Lord. Translation: The Rishi Maitreya said, the Lord thus heard about the suspension of the progressive, creative functions of the universe due to the non-combination of his potencies, such as the Mahat Tattva. Please repeat. The Rishi Maitreya said, the Lord thus heard about the suspension of the progressive creative functions of the universe due to the non-combination of his potencies, such as the Mahat Tattva. Purport. There is nothing wanting in the creation of the Lord. All the potencies are there in a dormant state. But unless they are combined by the will of the Lord, nothing can progress. The suspended progressive work of creation can only be revived by the direction of the Lord. We will also do text 2. Kala Sandhyanam Devim Viparat Shaktim Urkramaha Trayodimshati Tattvanam Ganam Yuga Pada Avishat. The Supreme Powerful Lord then simultaneously entered into the 23 elements with the goddess Kali, his external energy, who alone amalgamates all the different elements. Purport. The ingredients of matter are counted as 23. The total material energy: false ego, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, earth, water, fire, air, sky, eye, ear, nose, tongue, skin, hand, leg, evacuating organ, genitals, speech, and mind. All are combined together by the influence of time and are again dissolved in the course of time. Time, therefore, is the energy of the Lord and acts in her own way by the direction of the Lord. This energy is called Kali and is represented by the dark, destructive goddess generally worshipped by persons influenced by the mode of darkness or ignorance in material existence. In the Vedic hymn, this process is described as Mula Prakritir, Avikritir, Maha Dadyaha, Prakriti Vikritayah Sapta Shorashakastu Vikaro Na Prakriti Na Vikriti Purushaha. The energy which acts as material nature in a combination of 23 ingredients is not the final source of creation. the Lord enters into the elements and applies his energy called Kali. In all other Vedic scriptures, the same principle is accepted. In Brahma Samhita 535 it is stated, Ekopya saurachayitum jagadandakotim yachaktirasti jagadandachayaya Andantarastha paramana chayantarastham Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primal Lord Govinda, who is the original personality of Godhead. By his partial plenary expansion, Mahavishnu, he enters into material nature and then into each and every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then as Kshirodakshaya into all the elements, including every atom of matter. Such manifestations of cosmic creation are innumerable, both in the universes and in the individual atoms. Similarly, this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Atava bahunaitena kimyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyam idam kritsnam ekam shrina stito jagat. O Arjuna, there is no necessity of your knowing about my innumerable energies, which act in various ways. I enter into the material creation by partial plenary expansion. Paramatma, or the Supersoul, in all the universes, in all the elements thereof, and thus the work of creation goes on. The wonderful activities of material nature are due to Lord Krishna. And thus, he is the final cause, or the ultimate cause of all causes. Sarva karana karanam. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Kam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Vanchakalpadrugashta Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Rupesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakan Chanagaurangi Radhe Vrindaveshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So if anyone remembers, we are in the new chapter. Did somebody notice?
Status quo.
Yesterday we did.
Oh, no.
No.
We ended yesterday, we were very
Yes, there's one more thing, which is, anyone remembers? Not the newer crowd, but the older crowd should, because this is the 4th time in a row that I'm starting a new chapter. So I'm having the honor of starting a new chapter every time. I mean, what is the coincidence, or what is the chance, or what is the luck? I should try a lottery or something. Unfortunately, no lottery in Hawaii, which is good. In Hawaii we at least holding one leg of the moon, right? They have to go to Las Vegas to run the lottery. So anyway, here we see this first verse. Rishi Maitreya said, the Lord thus heard about the suspension of the progressive creative functions of the universe due to the non-combination of his potencies, such as the Mahatattva. And it just struck to me when I was reading the purport, it said, the last line of the purport says, the suspended progressive work of creation can only be rewired by the direction of the Lord. it just came to my mind that the suspended work of the Hawaii rail is also waiting for Lord's intervention.
Yes.
We have to pray, you know, none of the governments are helping it, so the only final authority, Krishna, can help. And Prabhupada in the purport says, there is nothing wanting in the creation of the Lord. That's what we know, that Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate, that everything in the creation of the Lord is complete. There is nothing lacking. When we were in the school, we were studying this Newton's laws, right? The three most prominent. And I think it's the third law which says the law of conservation of energy, isn't it? And it said that the total amount of the energy in the whole universe of the creation remains the same all the time. And at that time I couldn't relate to what he was saying, but now I can relate because it's emanating from the Lord, the Supreme Lord Himself. So just like the Lord or Krishna Himself is Purna, Purnamadaya, Purnamidam, complete. So also His creation is complete. There is no lacking in this creation. Although at some times it may seem that it's going on automatically, just like in this verse it says that there is a push, or there's a word trying to remember, agitation. The Mahatattva is agitated by the Supreme Lord. Just like we see the electricity here, and we may think that, oh, it's just happening automatically, or we turn the switch here or turn off. But somebody at some powerhouse, he is there to turn on or off the main switch, isn't it? Similarly, when we see the airplanes, the pilots, they are required only to take off and landing. And other times the plane is in autopilot, and they may, people may think that, oh, it's going on automatically, but no, there's intervention of the person or the personality. And nowadays we have cloud, right? We store all our data and we think, oh, it's there somewhere in the cloud. But no, it's there in some physical location, somewhere in some servers in some part of the world, and some person is operating the switches to turn on and turn off those machines. So nothing is happening by chance, or nothing is happening automatically. There is always that agitation, that push, the initial push required. Just like you may have the fanciest car, but if there is no driver in the car, what is the point of it? So same way in Ramayana, I was hearing the other day, a very nice incident. This one devotee from Mumbai, India, Lal Govindas, is a disciple of Radha Govind Swami. And he was narrating from Ramayana that when Lord Ramachandra came back after winning the war over Lord Ravana, not Lord Ravana or Ravana, just Ravana, the Supreme Lord Ram came to Ayodhya and everything was settled, his Rajyabhishek was done, he was coronated as a king. And then he called all the praja, or all the citizens of the Ayodhya, and he gave this wonderful pravachan or talk. And in that he mentioned that he is mentioning different things, and one of the things he's saying that how Brahmanda Brahmite, that we are this living entities that are going this 8 million 400, is it 84 million or 800? 8 million 400. 8,400,000 species of life. And then finally we get this human form of life, and this human form of life he compares, just like we are here in this middle of the Pacific Ocean, and this vast ocean, we don't realize how vast it is. When we are at the beach and we see the horizon and we think, oh, that is the end. And at least when I was a child, I used to think, oh, maybe we just go into the boat and we see the end of the ocean. But when you go to chase that end, the horizon, it's never ends. You just keep going on and on. So we can see the vastness of this ocean, but in this ocean, if a person is put in that ocean, no matter how expert swimmer that person may be, you think that person can cross over the ocean? Yes, no? Very difficult, right? I mean, what are the chances? What are the odds? Very, very difficult, but Lord Ramachandra says, what? We are drowning. Our situation is similar, just like every day morning we are praying samsara davanala loka. In this loka, that this davanala, this fire of material existence or creation, this repeated cycle of birth and death. Right? Similarly, the soul, the jiva, is there being tossed by the waves in this deep ocean of material existence. But then, at one point, he sees this boat, right, very near to him. So what is he going to do? Definitely he's going to go grasp the boat so that he can be saved. Right? So the point Ramachandra was making, Lord Ramachandra, that this human form or human body is the same like a nauka, like a boat, which helps us to cross over this existence or this material suffering, this entire cycle, to skip this entire cycle of birth and death. And there are so many ways, of course, even when we have this body, but just like in the previous chapter, we saw that how by our own effort we cannot do anything. It says that by the grace of the Guru and Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij, only when we get the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, even though you may have the body or the boat, but that's not enough. Right? The captain has to be there, the captain of the ship, who will direct us to cross over this material ocean. And we saw, just like in this verse, it says Maitreya Uvacha, or Maitreya Muni is saying, or Rishi Uvacha is pointing out to Maitreya Rishi. And the previous chapter ended with who? Deva Uchu. Right? Devas or the demigods, and the demigods are praying that how, we saw in the previous chapter that how if one takes the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, then they can cross over this material. There's a wonderful verse by Kunti Devi, we'll come to that, but before that, Radha Govind Maharaj was also mentioning, this is like, because I asked this question last time to Maharaj, that what does serving the lotus feet literally means, that we just go serve the deities and the feet of the lotus feet. And of course, it also means that we serve the Vaishnavas, the pure devotees of the Lord, who are serving the Supreme Lord. But Maharaj mentioned a very wonderful point. He said that the Charana Padma, the lotus feet of the Lord, does not mean just the feet of the Lord, right? Because just like we sing in the morning, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti, right? Angani, that every limb of the body of the Lord, just like his eyes can do the same function what his feet can do, right? The different functions, just we are limited as a conditioned soul. We are limited. If we want to see, we can only see by the eyes, right? We cannot eat by the eyes, but the Lord can eat by the eyes. So that he was saying that how, because it's mentions in the next verse, that how the different ingredients, starting from earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the pancha indriya, the five senses. There are working senses, and there are karmendriya and jnanendriya, the knowledge acquiring senses and the working senses. So he was mentioning that how the Charana Padma actually also refers to the entire body of the Lord. So when the Lord is offering his charan or his lotus feet to the devotees, it also means that he's also giving himself, his entire self to the devotees. Right? And he mentioned very nicely, Maharaj mentioned that how when we have the darshan of the Lord with the eyes, right, the Lord is giving himself to us through the eyes, and then we can smell the fragrance by our nose and smell the body, the fragrance from the body of the Lord. And there's also touch. Right? When we serve the deities, we are touching the Lord. And then of course, we don't forget the most important, just like Mataji was mentioning yesterday. Although it's the grossest of the elements in the body, Sharira Vidyajal, Jodendriya Taheka, Jive Fele. The tongue is the most voracious, but when we have the prasad of the Lord, right, we are having the Lord Himself, in the sense the Lord is giving Himself to the devotees. So this is the important point, that although it may seem that the immediate cause, there are so many, just like when we take birth from our physical or the material father and mother, so they are also the cause of our existence, but they are the immediate cause. But who is the cause of all the causes? Sarva Karana Karana, Krishna. Right? And that's what even Prabhupada is mentioning because sometimes people in the second verse here, he says, the Supreme Powerful Lord simultaneously entered into the 23 elements with the goddess Kali, his external energy, who alone amalgamates all the different elements. So sometimes people may think that because they see goddess Kali or Durga in the forefront, and they think that, she is all in all, she is the Supreme Personality. But no. Prabhupada is quoting from Brahma Samhita Ekopya Sau Rachayitum Jagadanta Bhutim Yachaktarasti Jagadanta Chayayavanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindam Adi Purusham. That how the Supreme Lord is entering into the different, it says here, worship the primary Lord Govinda, who is the original personality of Godhead. By his partial plenary expansion, Mahavishnu, he enters into material nature, and then into each and every universe as Garbhodakshai, and then into all the elements, including every atom of matter. Such manifestations of cosmic creation are innumerable, and we may think that this is happening just for us, for our small little earth, for our small little universe, but it says here it's innumerable cosmic creations. So you can imagine, it's inconceivable how the entire creation, or to grasp the magnanimity or the vastness of the creation of the Lord. Because it says, what is it, 1/3 or 1/4 of the whole creation of the Lord? Because I think 3/4 is the spiritual creation, and 1/4 is the material creation. So sometimes the foolish people, or the ignorant, that's what Prabhupada mentions in the purport here. The ignorant, those who are ignorant or mode of ignorance, they might think that Kali or Goddess Durga is all in all. And if you have been to Bengal, mostly in Bengal or in some part of Maharashtra too, they are more prominently Durga, Kali worshippers than the worshippers of Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Panchatattva ki Jai, Shri Shri Ganath Bhagavan Shri 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 Prabhupada ki Jai. And on that note, there's a small short story from Srila Prabhupada's. If you have ever read, anybody read Satsarup Maharaj, that Prabhupada nectar? A small red cover. A lot of nectar in there. So in that, he is mentioning that there's this one Durga worshipper of Goddess Kali, and he is going. We know that the demigods, they are famous for giving you boons very easily. So he's always going to Goddess Kali and he's asking some boon. And one time he goes to the Goddess Kali and he says, Durga, please get me married. I'm not finding a suitable bride because I'm Mangalik. Mangalik, like this. If somebody is Mangalik, it's difficult for them to find a bride. It's a particular dosha. So please, get me married. And he says, if you get me married, now he's coming to some business deal here. He says, I will offer you a goat in sacrifice. So after some time, Goddess Kali is saying Tathastu. After some time, he's married and everything. And now he gets a kid. And the kid has to go to the college. And he needs a promotion. Right? to pay for his college, and he prays, again goes to Goddess Kali and prays that, oh Goddess Kali, can you please help me to get promoted in my job so that I can have more money and support my family. And Goddess Kali, she says, okay, anyway, last time he promised me the goat, he did not give me, but anyways, he's my bhakta, he's my devotee. So the bhakta, the devotee says that, I will offer you a chicken in sacrifice, right? And Goddess Kali Sama says, okay, tathastu. So he goes away, his wishes are fulfilled, and then after a few years, he comes back again, and he says, oh Durga, please, my son is now going to get married, so please arrange a wife for him, right? Or please help, or please bless that he should get married. And then the Goddess Kali, she's kind of, Durga Devi, she's kind of annoyed, and she says, every time you come, I fulfill your desires, and I give you whatever you want, but you never keep up your promise. First time you promised me goat, next time you promised me chicken. So at least this time, can you give me, even a simple fly? Forget of all this, things. Just a simple fly. Offer me a simple fly. So what does this bhakta say? The goddess or the Durga bhakta. What does he say? Anybody knows? He says, "Oh goddess, says there's so many flies hovering around you. Why don't you grasp one yourself and have it?" So this is, Prabhupada is narrating this story to show that how the bhaktas of Durga or the goddess or the demigods, they are so less intelligent, or they are so maya aprita jnana, that there is so much in more of ignorance that they can't come anywhere near to appreciating the glories of the Supreme Lord. That's why Arjuna here also, Prabhupada ends the purport by quoting Bhagavad Gita, Atava Bahunaitena Kim Gyatena Tavarjuna. That, oh Arjuna, what is the need to know, all these details about the creation, or the process of creation? And Krishna is saying that Vishtapyaham idam krishnam ekam shena sthito jagat. That, oh Arjuna, there is no necessity of your knowing about my innumerable energies which act in various ways. I enter into the material creation by my partial plenary expansion in all the universes and in all the elements. And thus the work of creation goes on. Ekam shena sthito jagat. There is one more verse. Yadyat vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam eva tattat eva vigachatvam mama teja amsha sambhavah. That whatever opulent and great things which you see in this creation, they are coming just from the spark of my splendor. So if just the spark is so magnanimous, or what is the word?
Magnanimous?
Isn't it magnanimous applied to
Magnificent?
compassion, right? Magnanimous, or
Yes. It's generous.
yeah, like more brilliant, or more, just like the universal form is very. I will go with the words, but he's saying, it's just a spark of my splendor. Whatever the most beautiful or the most opulent things you see in this entire creation. So what to speak of splendor? Very inconceivable to me. So I'm going to stop here and open the floor for some more comments and questions. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So, from your perspective, what is it that draws a devotee to Kali Ma in the first place as being a reasonable approach to communing with God rather than Krishna? Or what is it about? I see here that it says that a lot of the devotees of Kali are acting in darkness and ignorance, but
It says karma guna sangasya because of the modes of material nature that we have acquired. That's what the dilemma here also in the chapter before, that all the demigods, they are saying that we are born in different modes of nature, right? And that's why they're saying that we are not able to perform this task given by you. The word uses concertedly, which means in harmony. Right? So that's why there's this dilemma, and that's why they are approaching the Lord to help him, to intervene, and to direct them or to enlighten them on how to go about doing their duties in these different departments of creation. The same way, it's nothing is from this life, it's from our previous lives. The accumulation of this life, what we have is the accumulation of the karmas from the different lifetimes and the mode of nature that we have acquired. Especially in Kali Yuga, we are born in ignorance. Right? It says, Kala, what is that verse?
Have you ever seen anyone devoted to Kaliman that eventually turned to Krishna and had a realization that?
Oh yes, of course, so many. Because Rasovarjam Rasopyaso Param Drishvani Vartate there. Unless one develops the higher taste, and the higher taste is there in Krishna's service or performing devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. So one gets that higher taste, just like even in Bengal, where it's prominently Durga worship, we have our headquarters in Mayapur, right? And so many hundreds and thousands of devotees from all around the surrounding area, they come to worship Radha Madhav. So yes, by the grace, but that happens by the grace of the Guru. Guru Prasad, Guru Prasad Bhakti Vij. Is that good? We can talk more about it. If any other comments, questions?
I thought offering a goat to Kali would be bad.
Yeah, see, it's bad.
In Chinese feng shui, they use the lunar calendar too, and based on the lunar mansions of the moon, before there were 12 zodiac, there were 23. And it seems like they pertain to the senses as well. It's pretty interesting.
These are the material. It says the ingredients of creation.
It's really interesting.
The ingredients of matter are counted as 23. So we are across your time. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.